All right, what's going on? We're going to talk about getting in and out of the gym in under 1.5 hours, 3 times a week, maybe even less than that. Now, you're probably wondering, James, isn't that already possible? Well, maybe, but if you're not doing it and you search this video or you search this podcast and you're stumbling across it, it's probably because you have a problem with spending too much time in the gym. Why do we end up spending too much time in the gym when we do have sessions? Well, the reason is because we waste so much damn time. All right, so normally what a normal gym session should look like is, you've got to warm up, you've got your workouts, right? And then you have a cool down, maybe some stretching. Maybe you don't stretch, doesn't really matter. Either way though, we're in a position where you have the bulk of the work that you came to do is in this middle part, and a lot of times that is the exact position that we lose so much time. So here is how you're going to spend less time in the gym, get a more effective workout, make sure you can hit the volume that is ample, right? And is intentional for the gains that you're looking for without wasting your whole damn day. So first and foremost, most people, the biggest wasters of time in the gym, right? Social media, talking, socializing, right? And then changing gear and equipment. All right, so let's go into this real quick. Most people in between their sets are like, oh man, I've got 60 seconds between my set, or I've got 120 seconds between my sets, or I got 90 seconds between my sets. I can just hop on social media and do a little scrolling. I can respond to a few DMs. I can reach back out to somebody that put in their coaching application. I can check in with my girlfriend, my boyfriend. I can hit up a baddie on Tinder or on Hinge. The fact of the matter is that you cannot. You think you can, but you don't have the discipline to do this because you're not actually timing your rest periods. So if you have exercises that's like 3 by 8 to 10, right, with 90 seconds in between, okay, 90 seconds in between sets, this is a hard out of 90 seconds. This means 1.5 minutes from the time that you set the weight down to the time you pick it up again. This does not mean, 90 does not mean 300 seconds, okay? 1.5 minutes does not mean 5 minutes between sets. Now, you can program rest periods however the hell you want to. I'm not your daddy, although you might like that. The fact of the matter is that you need to be intentional about your actual rest periods. Social media, myself included, I found myself in a position where I'm like, oh, I'm just going to check my DMs, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that. Bullshit. You're not. You don't have that kind of discipline. Most people don't. So how do we get around that? We take it out. Just don't open Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Discord, Twitter, LinkedIn. You don't need to respond to that woman. You don't need to respond to that man. You don't need to respond back to your boss. You don't need to hit your girlfriend back up. She knows you're in the gym, or your boyfriend knows you're in the gym, or whoever knows you're in the gym. And if they don't, well then they can wait, right? It's not life and death. If it's an emergency, that's a different story. Social media, most people take their rest periods from 90 seconds to 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, that's a big jump that compounds. Because if you have 3 sets, right? You have 3 sets, and we've got 6 exercises. That's 18 sets, right? And if we're trying to rest 1.5 minutes between, okay? So that would be our overall rest periods there. Let's just say they're 1.5, so that's 40, right? Excuse me. 5, 9. 1.5. And actually, this is going to be easier. So 18 times 1.5 is going to be 18, right? Plus 9, which is 27. So if math is not my strong suit today, I used to be a mathlete ages and ages ago back in elementary school, but here we are. So 1.5 of 18 is going to be 27. So that's 27 minutes of rest across the 18 sets. If you're in a position where instead of taking 90 seconds like you had planned, right, where that's 27 total minutes of rest, let's say you took 3 minutes in between, right, then we would just go 27 times 2, because it's double the 1.5, right, which would be 14, 4 times 1, 54 minutes. So that would effectively, taking twice as long rest periods would effectively get you twice as long of a session, right? Because literally you're talking about, you're almost an hour at just rest there. So social media, it's a problem. Talking and socializing, it's a problem. Changing gear and equipment, it's a problem. You want to set yourself up for efficiency, and we're going to talk about how we can do that in just a second. But overall, if it says 90 seconds, if you've programmed 90 seconds for what you're doing, take the damn 90 seconds. Don't take a minute more. Don't take 30 seconds more. Stop doing that shit. That is how we're ending up in the gym for 2 to 4 hours at a time, right? And getting the same volume that, you know, jabroni down the street gets, because he's taking 1.5 minutes, right? 90 seconds between sets. You're taking 3 minutes, but you're not pushing any heavier. You're not getting any more hypertrophy. You're not in a position where you're actually working anything better, because it's not like you're intentionally taking 3-minute rest periods so that you can push heavier. You're not, right? You're just in a place where you're just wasting time. So instead of resting 54 minutes, let's tighten that shit up and rest to 27. Okay, spread out across the overall 6 exercises at 3 sets per exercise, 18 sets, okay? So social media is a problem. That is probably the number one thing that jumps you away from that. Another thing is talking and socializing. Throw some headphones in. You don't have to be listening to a damn thing. Throw headphones in, don't make eye contact. Can you smile at someone in between sets? Can you say what's up? Can you dap them up? Can you give them a hug? Sweet. You're not here to have TED Talks. You're not here to have motivational speeches. You're not here to have big ass long conversations. Do that outside the gym. You're here to work, and you're here to get in and get out as efficiently as you can to put you on the path for your goals. You're not here to talk, okay? And then another thing, and this comes down to overcomplication and the exercises that you're trying to do. You don't need to have your wrist wraps, your grips, plus chalk, plus a weightlifting belt, plus your lifters, plus knee sleeves, plus flossing bands, and all this other shit to do every single set. You don't need to do that. What you need to do is, in my opinion, use the minimal, right? Use the minimal amount of equipment needed to get the stimuli that you're trying to hit. Now, we've talked about weightlifting belts before. We've talked about proprioception. We've also talked about over tightening. We've talked about being a fitness junkie and really more of like a fitness gear junkie. And a lot of people in CrossFit fall into this because they're in a position where they need to do everything to do a simple air squat. But that aside, not shitting on CrossFit. I love CrossFit. I do CrossFit, but a lot of people are literally gearheads in there, and I don't mean steroids. I mean legitimately like fitness gear. But regardless, social media, number 1 killer. Socializing, number 2. Changing equipment and loading up on gear, number 3. And this can be solved. This last one is probably the easiest one to be solved, and you don't have to use abstinence to do so. All that you have to do is just intentionally write your stuff from one side of the gym to the other, from flowing from the exercises that are easiest to get onto to the more difficult ones, or vice versa. Find a flow and hit it. You know the gym that you're in on a consistent basis, and this should be easier as you are in the gym more. So those are really our problems, right? Those are the main reasons. And I think number 4 here, and this is something that we didn't really talk about, but not having a plan. If you go into the gym and just haphazardly do whatever you feel like that day, this is going to take way longer than it needs to. This is also going to put you in a place where you're not getting optimal volume and you're not probably tracking it. So what are the solutions to this? Because social media, we can just abstain, get that out of here, turn that off, don't do it. You can have music or a podcast playing and your phone on do not disturb, okay? D&D is your best friend. Talking and socializing. You can dap somebody up in a rest period, say what's up, and jump back in the set on your timer so that you're only getting 1.5 minutes. Now, how will you do this? I recommend you don't use your phone for a timer. You use your watch. Use this watch and you hit it. You have a little stopwatch action here, right? And you just hit and you go that way, okay? Super simple, super simple. Just hit that there. That should do away with your need to use a phone for that, and it should do away with you talking too long, okay? Number 2, programming to get you off your phone. Look, there's literally, I've been holding this piece of paper. There's nothing on it, but this is how I would write down your workouts. Legitimately, write them down, right? Write your rests, write your sets, Write your rest periods, bring a pen in there so you can fill in the weights, so you can transfer to your fitness app or something else later. But having the ability to just look at a piece of paper rather than deal with your phone is going to be a better option if you're trying to come down on time. And then, this last thing here that we're talking about with the plan, again, if you don't have a plan, it's going to take way too long. The changing the gear, and the fitness equipment, I mean, it is what it is. You can do it. You've got to plan ahead. Doesn't mean that you got to spend 5 hours a week programming for yourself. You don't need to do that. You can get on anyone's fitness app. You can come see us. You can go see Ryan Fisher, Marcus Philly. You see Dr. Andy. You can go buy CrossFit programming. You can buy any app out there. You can buy an ebook. It doesn't really matter. You just need some exercise to start, some strength training, 2, 3, or 4 times a week. I would recommend that optimal is 3, but hey, do what you want to do. Overall, you shouldn't be spending this much time in the gym unless you're a competitive athlete, right? Or this is your job. And if it's your job, you're probably not here looking at this because you're not worried about spending less time in the gym. But for all of us normies, right? Every single person that's a normie, okay, or gen pop, you need to be spending less time in the gym because the majority of the time that you're spending there, you're wasting right now. Hope that helps. Talk to y'all later.